Hello, sewmates. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you been struggling on how to make cargo pockets? We all know that cargo pants are now are still trending. So don't worry, I got you. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a cargo pocket perfectly. So now let's get right into it. So this is the material we'll work with. Let's assume that this is maybe your trouser or your skirt that you want to place the cargo pocket. Do you get? So now I'm just going to get the midpoint of this fabric. Getting the midpoint of this fabric and rolling a straight line across is just to indicate, maybe you know, when you stitch your trousers together by the side, that line, this is that line. So I'm using this as a guide for us so that we don't get confused. So up next, you are going to determine the length and the width of the pocket. But for me, I'm using 9 by 9 inches. I'm using 9 by 9 inches. Then you go ahead and fold it into two like this. Then you mark 1 inch all the way down. Roll a straight line because you are going to be stitching on that line. And make sure you are doing it on the right side. So this is what we have. By the time you stitch it, this is what you have. Now you are going to place it like this. You are going to be opening it up, because the cargo part I am showing you has a design. So this is part of the design. Then you iron press it just like this. You give it a smooth press, just like this. So now you're going to flip it to the other side. Then you're going to be stitching down 1 inch all around. So I'm using my pin to hold it down because so it doesn't move, and this jean fabric I'm using is very thick. So now you're going to be folding about 1 inch, just as you can. So this is what you should have after stitching. So now you're going to be folding your pocket 0.5 inches all around. This is so that it will be easy for you to sew. So you go ahead and iron press. So this is what you should have by the time you are done pressing it with your iron. Next up, because the pocket has a design, I'm going to be using Ankara fabric. So now after the 1 inch, you are going to measure your pocket all around, just as you can see. So to determine the amount of fabric you are going to use for the design. So next up, you get your Ankara or the fabric of your choice for the design, or the actual fabric you have been using from the beginning. You make sure that the width of it is about 2 inches. So I have about 2 inches for the width. So now you are going to be folding it in bias form. You can see that I'm folding it on the other side and on this side. You fold it in bias form all through. So you are going to iron press it. You are going to iron press it. So this is what it looks like after you have pressed it with your iron. You can see this is what it looks like. So now we are going to be placing it on the pockets, behind the pockets. So you need to get your pins ready because you are going to be pinning it down. You can see the way I'm placing it behind it, just like this. You place it behind, then you begin to use your pins to hold it down all around till you get to the other side before that 1 inch that you sewed inside. So you continue the process just like this. So you continue pinning it till you get to that 1 inch on the other side before you get to that 1 inch on the other side. So by the time you are done, this is what it looks like. So now you are going to be top stitching after that 1 inch all around till you get to that other part. Now you are going to start sewing after that 1 inch that is marked. Make sure that you arrange your fabrics because you are top stitching. So you'll be taking out your pins also so that you can control your sewing. So by the time you get to this tip, like that corner, you know it's a square, maybe the first corner. By the time you get to the first corner at the tip, you sew carefully. So I'm just trying to take the pins off so I can control it, the fabrics so I can control the fabrics. So you take off your pins. By the time you get to this tip like this, you raise your machine up. So I'm on the tip now. Next up, you raise your machine up, then you turn your fabric like this. You arrange your fabric closely. Just as you can see, I'm trying to arrange it so that it can align well. Then you continue sewing. You can back stitch if you want. And you continue sewing till you get to the other tip of that square. So by the time you get to the tip of the other square, you take out your pins again. So you arrange your fabric, then you raise it up again. When you raise it up, you turn your fabric just like this. Turn your fabric, you arrange it. You can see I'm trying to arrange it so that I can top stitch properly. So you go ahead and top stitch. You take out your pins again so I can arrange the fabric so that what is underneath aligns with what is on the top. So you stop at that 1 inch that you sewed in earlier. So that 1 inch, that's where you're going to stop sewing. That's why I'm pointing my hand there. So then you back stitch. So this is what it looks like. This is what your pocket looks like by the time you are done sewing it. So you can see it more clearly here. So this is what it looks like. Remember that fabric that we used at the beginning, this one that I wrote a line. So now you're just going to be aligning the pocket, the midpoint of the pocket to this actual fabric, just assuming that you are placing the pocket by the side of your trouser or by the skirt or where you want to place the pocket. So now you're just going to be pinning it down so that the fabric doesn't move. So now you can see the way the pocket is. You can see when you place it side by side, you can see it aligns well. You can see it aligns well when you place it side by side. You can see the excess of the 2 inches and folding in by 0.25 is to show you the design. So next up, I'm going to be taking my chalk and marking a straight line all around the square pocket. So now you can do this before placing your pocket on wherever point you want to fix your pocket. Just measure what you have. This is so that the sewing will be easy. So I'm just going to be using pins to hold it round beneath before the point that I marked around, so that it will be easy for you to sew. So now this is it on the sewing machine. So now I'm going to be showing you how you are going to sew it. So you are going to start sewing. You can look at where I'm going to start sewing from. So you are going to start sewing from this point, just like this. You take out your pins and try to control the fabric as well. You start sewing just like this. Just carefully look at the process. So when you try to arrange your fabric as well. So when you get to that tip, because you are going to also get to a tip, when you get to that tip, you raise your machine up, you turn it, then continue the process all around. I said you are going to continue sewing all around. When you get to that tip, you raise your machine up, you continue sewing. Make sure that you arrange your fabrics properly. So you are going to stop sewing at this tip. You stop sewing at this tip here. So this is what the pocket looks like by the time you are done sewing. So next up, you are going to be stitching that 1 inch. You see that part that is open? That's that 1 inch. You are going to stitch 1 inch plus 0 points. You are going to be stitching 1 inch down. You folded 1 inch. When you fold it, it's not exactly 1 inch that you folded. So you stitch it down. Make sure that you are holding the fabric beneath it, so that place is firm. You also do that for the other side as well. So you also do that for the other side. You stitch it, you give it a good stitch so that it doesn't loosen out. So now I'll show you what we have. So you can see you stitched it down closely. So now you can see what the pocket looks like all around. You can see what it looks like. That place, you stitch that point closely. So this is what your pocket looks like. Next up is the pocket cover. So now you're just going to measure your pocket. So there I have about 6 inches. You're going to get the fabric you want to use for your pocket. I'm sorry I was not capturing this side closely. So you make sure that you have your fabric folded into 2. Then you fold it into 2 first. So you determine the width. So the width I have there was 6 inches, so I'm going to add 1 inch to it. I'm going to add 1 inch to it, for sewing. Do you get? So one thing I want to say is that if you don't want the pocket to be directly like this, directly on it, maybe you want it to come out a little bit, you can just decide to add extra half an inch. So 6 plus 1.5 inch is about 7.5 inch. So the length will now be 7.5 inch, the length of the pocket. So the width of the pocket I'm using is about 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. So I'm going to rule a straight line across and go ahead and cut the pocket. And cut the pocket cover. Okay, so this is me cutting it. You can see that it's in a square shape. So this is it folded into 4. So now if you put it this way in a square shape, just like this, you can see probably you don't want a design. You can see it. Probably you don't want a design. That's what it will look like. So now I'm folding it into 4. So just to give it a little bit of a design. So there I marked about 1 inch. Then I slanted my line. I slanted it down. So this is what you are going to have. I'm sorry I was not capturing this part properly. So you are going to take it to your sewing machine and you are going to sew all around the edges of the pocket. So this is what you are going to have by the time you are done sewing. So you can see. So this is what you are going to have. So this is what your pocket looks like, the cover. So you just stitch it. You just stitch it around on that point. You stitch about 0.5. By the time you are done stitching, this is what it is going to look like. So I've stitched it down. So this is what our pocket looks like. This is me putting my hand in the pocket. You can see how beautiful it looks. So guys, if this is something you like, don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share. See how the cargo pocket is looking like. So now we have come to the end of this tutorial. So see you guys in my next video.